All right, so we're here with Dr. Reg Grant at Dallas Theological Seminary, who is a writer, actor, professor. Am I missing anything?
Tap dancer.
Right, of course, the tap dancing. You didn't have your top hat and cane.
No, that goes back about 40 years, so it's been a while.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about qualities of an artistic life, but also I want to start off with just how has art impacted your theology, and also vice versa. How has theology impacted your art?
I think that art for me began impacting my life because I don't segment art, life, theology. My big word with my students is integration. And so I see theology as life, and there are the technical and formal aspects of theology, of course, where we need to be able to say, okay, categorically, there are certain issues that would be technically theological in nature, but in terms of the practical outworking of that theology, I believe that we should look at art, life, and theology as being an integrated whole, holistically. And a word that you were using with me earlier, Heather, communally, that there is a community that we want to pursue. So, back to your question, I think that theology started, and art started to impact my life, and in a way, theologically, that I wasn't even aware of at the time. When I was very young, I encountered a film that was made back in the late 30s called Goodbye, Mr. Chips. And in that film, Robert Donat, I believe, won Best Actor that year for that film. That film made me want to be a teacher. Now there was something going. Now what does that have to do with theology? Well, there is something about the giving nature, the other-centeredness of that man that appealed to me, and that set me really on a track toward teaching. I started teaching when I was just off and on when I was about 17, 18 years old, and have continued in that vein ever since. Another film that impacted me was Lost Horizon, which is a film about a man who discovers really a Buddhist community in the mountains of Tibet. And that film made me want to be an actor. So there was something in that film. Again, I remember Sam Jaffe played the old man of the mountain in that wonderful little film, and there was something about the peace that he seemed to have, at least in the movie, and this idyllic setting there in the Valley of Shangri-La that was just romantic, and it appealed to the romantic in me. So it made me want to be an actor. Those two films, I found out much later, were based on books written by the same man, a man named James Hilton. And to think that those two books inspired films that would in turn inspire me toward that kind of a life of service and a life that hopefully is going to glorify God. That's the end result.
Right.
So I think that a lot of times most of the time, I think, for good or ill, our theology grows out of our personality. We like to think that we approach Scripture and truth objectively, but we bring a lot of baggage to that.
Right.
And many times our theology emerges from our personality. But we want to try to maintain, given the way that God has wired us individually, an objective response to truth when we encounter it, so that truth can change us. We don't change the truth. We don't mold the truth to fit us. We accommodate ourselves to fit the truth as it's revealed in Scripture.
Deep rhythm captivates me.